just indulge me in this hypothetical scenario. We didn't have time to fully explore it previously, but imagine you're in a state in which there is a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. There are a lot of people who want that speed limit raised. Imagine that the chief executive of that state, the governor, really wants it raised to, say, 75 miles an hour. There is a lot of support within the legislature and among the public at large that there needs to be some reform to the speed limit law. They can't get to any one proposal that gets enough votes, and so nothing happens. The governor at that point decides that he will announce that anyone who wants to drive faster than 55 will not be ticketed, and they can apply for certification that they won't be ticketed if they want to drive up to 75 miles an hour. He says, I can't guarantee this forever, but I can guarantee it for the next 3 years. I will not be enforcing that. Would that, under that hypothetical scenario, not be tantamount to a usurpation of the legislative role that belongs to the legislative branch?
Well, Senator, with respect to your hypothetical, before I could provide a response, I would certainly want to understand not just the factual framework that you've outlined, but the relevant laws governing the situation, as well as any prior state action, any actions that have been sanctioned, all the types of things that would go into rendering a legal opinion. And certainly, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I'm a careful lawyer. And I would want to have all of that information before I could really give you a legal opinion as to your hypothetical situation.
Okay, I understand, and I respect the great care that you devote to answering questions, and but I would respectfully submit that at some point there is a limit to what a chief executive can do, whether we're talking about a chief executive in the form of a governor at a state level, or whether we're talking about a chief executive who's the President of the United States. At some point, I would hope you could agree with me that there are limits to what a chief executive can do. At some point, when saying, I'm not going to enforce this law, let's suppose it's not a speed limit, let's say it's taxes. A future President of the United States, whether a Republican or a Democrat, says, I don't think we ought to have any tax rate above 25%. And at some point, that president can't get Congress to agree, so that president says, I'm not going to enforce any tax rate above a 25% marginal rate. We can think of lots of examples. At some point, there is a limit. And I hope that you'll recognize that, and hope that moving forward, should you be confirmed, that you be one who's willing to point out to the President of the United States that you do have a client. Your client is the United States of America. The chief spokesperson for that client might be the President himself. But your client is the United States, and embodied within that are the constitutional restraints that fall upon every officer sworn to uphold, protect, and defend that Constitution, including the President himself. I see that my time has expired. And